views and opinions shared by our guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Northstar or its team.
It's that time of year again where tax forms are starting to pile up on the kitchen table. Are we talking to you? Yeah, but 2026 isn't just another tax year. It's the first time we're seeing the full impact of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Joining us is George Bossing and Travis from Northstar Financial and Retirement Planning. George, you say the tax season is actually good news for many retirees, provided they don't miss a few brand new rules.
That's it. That's why we have Travis. He's our CPA in the office, many years experience, and he buys all the books for the year, gets current with all the tax code, and puts it to work. And this year seems to be a little extra for you, huh?
Oh yeah. Well, you know, every time every time they have legislative changes, it provides new opportunities.
Yeah.
So
that's a nice way to look at it. I would have said that a lot of work on his end. But
we have to use words like that to keep people out watching the program. We're talking about taxes. So,
okay,
but yeah, some money saving opportunities, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yep. You know, it's very little that we can do now, right, to take advantage of the some of the benefits. You know, primarily the senior deduction, things like that. So a lot of our clients, well, we did some of the planning in the fourth quarter. It's really important. But then, you know, so when we meet, you know, they prepare their taxes. We get together and look at how we can maximize the you know, potential benefit moving forward. Because, like for instance, that senior deduction provision, you know, we're up to $12,000. Well, that's only you know, for the next 3 years. So it expires or phases out in 2028. So we want to make sure we capitalize upon that opportunity while it's available, you know, amongst others.
Right. This kind of stuff, and I know I've asked this in the past, does it just happen, or do you have to check another box? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do people watching, do they just get that senior benefit, or do you have to know that you're qualified for that?
Good question there.
Yeah, they, well, they have to qualify, right? And it's based upon certain income thresholds. For married filing joint, for instance, it's $150,000 to, I think, $250,000. It phases out, so you receive an incremental benefit, you know, up until that threshold, that upper threshold.
Right.
And, you know, and so therefore, that's what we keep an eye on, especially whenever we're looking at other planning opportunities, whether it be recognizing additional income by doing Roth conversions, or, you know, for instance, Medicare is a big one now. Not Medicare, rather the healthcare marketplace with the increase in premiums. We want to be cognizant of how much income we recognize, you know, to avoid a substantial increase in premium. So that kind of goes, that's all the soup.
He's trying to mitigate surprises.
Right. Yeah.
Unwanted surprises.
Right. Surprises can be good sometimes.
And also taking advantage of the opportunities that people aren't aware of.
Yeah.
Or just miss. Right? If you don't know it, you don't know what you missed on it. So it's really important that when people come in, a lot of our clients are really savvy.
Oh, certainly.
They're on their game with a lot of this stuff, yet they still find stuff that Travis says, by the way, have you looked into this? And they go, no, I haven't. And it could be big savings.
Yeah,
more often than not.
Could be bad too, right? Is there something that like hits retirees every year that they're like, whoa, I didn't know about this?
Well, you know, it's not necessarily. When we talk about filing and the piling up of forms, there are instances, and Zach and I were working with a client that, you know, there's uncertainty. You know, whenever you do some type of IRA rollovers, if they go from one custodian or you know, company that holds the funds to another company, then it's okay because it gets reported on the 1099 properly. But there are instances where that doesn't happen. And if you're just going through the prompts on the online software, you might miss it. And we had a client that, you know, it resulted in her having to pay like $40,000 that wasn't necessary. And so trying to remedy the situation, we had to amend the return, and you know, it just took 9 months, and here, you know, she's out 40 grand, you know, unnecessarily. And so just being aware of those types of issues as well is important.
Just the other day, you were part of that conversation with Zach. We were talking earlier, he does the Social Security planning, right?
Right.
And he did his first undoing of Social Security. Somebody had taken for about 6 months and realized, too much money coming in, and their health care was going to go skyrocket. So they went and paid back Social Security. It's the first time he's done it. We actually went back, you paid back 1 year.
Right.
So undo the mistake so it wasn't a mistake.
Right.
This is how tricky it can get.
Oh my gosh.
You don't want to miss these things. If it waited, it would have been too late.
Yeah.
And their health care would probably gone up, I don't know, $15,000-$20,000.
More than the Social Security
Oh,
benefit.
yeah.
Yeah,
crazy.
It was
So probably stunk
Yeah.
eating it at that time. But you're like, no, it's
Yeah.
better to do it now.
And
than-
again, and plus they'll get the raise again next year, the
Yeah.
8% bump in their Social Security since they paid it back. So it's a win-win out of that whole roll. But these are smart people, and it almost got by them.
Yeah, this is why you got to use our friends. All right, we appreciate y'all coming on every
Thanks,
Wednesday.
Maggie. You look pretty, by the way. I
to
like
help
your
it.
dress.
Thank you. You know, had a little sparkle for my Northstar friends. If you would like to talk to them about, finding your silver lining this tax season, give them a call. It's really about keeping what you've made, and they can help you do that. So give them a call. You see the number on the screen. There's also a QR code if you would like to click that, and it'll take you directly to their page. But just call the number that you see right there on the screen, and they'll work with you to help identify potential tax efficient things. Thank you, Northstar. Appreciate
Thanks,
you.
Megan.